Now available on Blu-ray from Arrow Video is the 1977 John Frankenheimer terrorist thriller Black Sunday. Unfortunately, titled as the same film that Mario Bava made about a decade earlier with Barbara Steele about witches, leading to perpetual confusion and or disappointment when somebody was looking for the other film and got the other film. So this is a film I had never seen until relatively recently. It's a movie that I haunted the video store as a kid. I wasn't deceased. I just was at the video store all the time as a kid, and I would walk the aisles. And I loved going to the video. I'm going to talk about the movie eventually. I loved going to the video store and just soaking it all up. It let me know what existed. It let me know so much about film history just by looking at the boxes. There are so many movies I know for their box cover that I still have never seen. And me watching Black Sunday for the first time was one of those. It was like I had read something about 2 Minute Warning, which is a similarly themed film. 2 Minute Warning film about a sniper in a football arena in LA, and it's like a disaster movie essentially. But there's a sniper, and how do we take him out without causing a panic, and who will survive and what will be left of them? Black Sunday is that other movie that people kind of confuse in their head. And that's what I'm going to talk about now. So Black Sunday, it starts off, I'm not going to give you the whole plot, but I'll give you the basics. It starts off with a commando raid in the Middle East on a terrorist cell. The commandos are led by Robert Shaw, and it's like zipline submachine gun commandos just taking out terrorists. He gets to one point where he sees a naked woman in a shower, and as like most hetero males would do, he pauses to reflect for a moment, and he chooses not to kill her. I think he has a moment of conscience, and he's like, I can't kill a defenseless woman, and he leaves. The right and wrong thing to do here. The rest of this movie wouldn't exist if he had taken her out. Basically, she survives. She is part of this terrorist, Black September terrorist cell who has a prisoner of war, American GI prisoner of war, who they've had for a very long time, played by Bruce Dern. Bruce Dern, for the longest time, known for playing psychos and crazy people. And this movie probably greatly helped that. Bruce Dern, just a guy who's been imprisoned, tortured, beaten, brainwashed, to the point where he believes what the terrorists believe, and we need to teach America a lesson. And this woman and Bruce Dern are going to go to America and do something. As the film, it's a lengthy film too. This film is, do I have it written down? 143 minutes, so like almost 2.5 hours. And to jump to the opinion, it's really good. So the idea of this film is Robert Shaw is trying to find and stop this impending terrorist attack that Intel has told them something's going to happen. The president is going to be at the Super Bowl in this arena, and something's going to happen, but we don't know what. As an audience, we see Robert Shaw and Fritz Weaver and his guys trying to go through their contacts and their intel and figure out what's going to happen. It's a race against time movie. And it's kind of screenwriting 101. It's a 3-act structure, and there's going to be a ticking clock. So there's all that, and we cut back and forth between that and the terrorists methodically, I mean really methodically, plotting what they're going to do. And as an audience, I don't recall, it's been a little while since I've watched this. I didn't watch this movie fresh for this review. I reviewed it with the extras and everything. I spot checked it with the extras because I watched it not that long ago. But you see every detail of construction and the plot, and this is the last bit of plot I'm going to give you, is that Dern is a pilot. He is going to pilot the Goodyear blimp over and into the arena and essentially set off a dirty bomb, killing like tens of thousands of people and the president. So we as an audience learn that well ahead of Robert Shaw, and then it's just insanely tense. The way this film plays out, you really don't know if this plot is going to happen or not, in that it really very well may. And it's super grim, it's super tense. John Frankenheimer knew what he was doing with thrillers and tension and political thrillers. This is the man who gave us, correct me if I'm wrong, 7 Days in May and The Manchurian Candidate, and Ronin, and many other films that are just, the name, well, he also gave us that Val Kilmer, Marlon Brando, Island of Dr. Moreau, but that was a late period. That was a late in his career. Ronin makes up for that, which also was released by Arrow Video, actually. Ronin, really good movie. So this movie's really good. It is insanely tense. It is very grim. It is a little disturbing in that it was made in, let's say, a more innocent time when the idea of a terrorist attack on U.S. soil was unthinkable. Pre 9/11, not that I have to remind anybody of that, but so to watch this with hindsight, it's grim because you know this has happened and could happen again in some way. At the time, it was unthinkable, so it was just even more or less horrifying than it is now. So everybody in this movie is fantastic. If there's anything I would say in watching this film with modern eyes that might not be as effective as it was in '77 is that some of the effects when you get right to the end, where you're doing a lot of stuff with the blimp in midair and what Robert Shaw is doing to try to stop it, some of that looks very studio set, not up in the sky. But they weren't really going to have Robert Shaw do what he does in the movie up in the sky, so I give that a pass. And I'm also not somebody who gets beefy, unless I eat a lot of it. I don't get beefy about films being a product of their era in terms of content, style, special effects, hairstyles, any of that stuff. So it is what it was for the time. It was a big budget Paramount release at the time. And unfortunately, from what I heard in the extras and kind of knew, it came out after 2 Minute Warning. So the movie didn't do as well as they kind of had hoped it would. I think it did okay, but it was the second out of the gate movie about terrorists attacking a major arena filled with people, and they're both worth watching. I'm not here to review 2 Minute Warning, but go see 2 Minute Warning. Black Sunday is really, really good. It's a little bit of a time commitment, so be aware of that. It's a good, dare I say, Sunday night movie or Sunday afternoon movie, especially if somebody else in your house is watching football. Watch this movie, because then you'll get this weird surround sound of a football game in the distance while you're watching a football game on the screen, and then everybody in it might die. So what are the extras? First of all, the transfer. It's Arrow Video. Movies never look better. Transfer looks excellent. Doesn't look like an old movie. Picture and sound are great. It seems dumb to say that with Arrow. One of these days there might be an Arrow transfer that I'm like, but for the most part, Arrow stuff is just the best these movies have ever looked. We have a commentary by Josh Nelson. Okay, so I did watch the movie. Again, it was a little while ago I watched this review disc. I did watch the movie with the commentary, so I re-experienced it, but I also got the commentary. Commentary is very good, as they pretty much 100% always are from Arrow. It gives you background into the political aspects of the film. It gives you background into everybody involved, thematics, production and release, original script. And I mentioned I didn't. This is based on a novel by Thomas Harris, who went on to create Hannibal Lecter with Silence of the Lambs and Red Dragon and all that stuff. So it's got the lineage. Talks about the book versus the movie, talks about early script ideas, talks about the production, talks about Robert Evans. Very good commentary. Then the visual essay, which I love these two. Is visual essay, if you've never seen one, it's basically somebody is rambling, and I say that in the nicest way possible. Somebody is talking about a film or aspects of a film while you look at stills or video clips or something like that. So you don't see them on camera, you just see it's a visual essay. Visual essay by Sergio Angelini on the film's adaptation, production, and place in the 70s thriller genre. That's a half hour, and that's really good, too. That gives you mostly different information than the commentary did, which I like. Sometimes you watch extras on a disc, and you hear the same stories over and over in 3 or 4 different places on the disc, and you're just like, once would have been enough. But no, this is solid stuff. And then I wasn't too sure about this until I watched it. It's a series I remember. From 2003, we have an episode of The Directors, which was I don't remember what cable channel did it, but it was a cable series. I feel like it was like Bravo or something like that. Somebody will correct me. This was about John Frankenheimer. It runs about an hour, and it's interviews with Frankenheimer and a lot of his contemporaries and coworkers, shall we say, about his whole career. So you really get Frankenheimer up to 2003. And I don't remember when Frankenheimer died. I think this was done while he was still alive. You get the whole width and breadth of his career in an hour. So that was really informative and cool. It doesn't really dwell on Black Sunday. They talk about it about as much or a little less than a lot of the other stuff, but we've got all those other extras to talk about Black Sunday. And then you have an image gallery, which is 45 images. So I've mush-mouthed and tongue-tied my way through this review. If you've never seen Black Sunday, it's really good. It is a good, serious, socio-political terrorism thriller. And Frankenheimer knew what he was doing, and there are moments in the movie that are incredibly tense and uncomfortable for me watching it, and boy, it was really, really good. So available now on Blu-ray from Arrow Home Video is 1977's, not to be confused with the horror movie, although it is kind of horror in a different way, Black Sunday. The movie with the blimp on the cover.